For a night landscape scene, you can use the appropriate scene mode, or for more control over camera functions, I recommend using the manual mode instead. You'll want to turn the flash off, set the appropriate ISO, as always set the appropriate white balance, and set the timer function. Let's start by setting the appropriate scene mode. Turn the mode dial to SCN. In the back, use your navigation buttons to move the highlighted field to the Starry Sky Scene Profile. Then press Set. You want to choose 15 seconds. Anything more than 15 seconds and it's too much for a night landscape. We're not, after all, taking pictures of a starry sky. Go ahead and press Set. Now the camera is profiled for a 15-second exposure with the flash turned off. You can go ahead and place the focusing brackets over the subject, press the shutter button halfway to lock focus, recompose if you need to, then press the shutter button the rest of the way to take the shot. Remember, because of the extremely slow shutter speed, you absolutely have to use a tripod or at least place the camera down on something steady. Either way, you'll want to use the timer function to reduce camera shake. Press the timer button or the left navigation button right here and go down to 2 seconds, then press Set. With the 2-second timer activated, you can press the shutter button just as you would when taking a regular picture. Then, immediately release the camera, giving it those 2 seconds to stop shaking before the image is captured. Because with this profile, the shutter speed is limited, I recommend using the manual mode instead. Turn the mode dial to M. The manual mode allows you to set both the shutter speed and the aperture. Down at the bottom, displayed is the aperture setting and the shutter speed. Press the exposure button to highlight these two fields. Use the up and down navigation buttons to set the shutter speed, and the left and right navigation buttons to set the aperture. Because this is a landscape after all, you want to have the aperture set to the highest value possible, f6.3. If your aperture value is less than f6.3, use the right navigation button to increase the value setting. Then use the up or down navigation button to set the shutter speed. I'm going to set this to 10 seconds. With the shutter speed and aperture set, I'll press the exposure button to move on. Now you want to make sure the flash is turned off, so press the flash button or the right navigation button right here, and use the up or down navigation buttons to choose forced flash off, then press Set. Now I need to make sure my ISO is properly set. Press the quick menu button right down here. This will access the quick menu, and you want to use the right or left navigation buttons to choose the ISO function. Now you want to go down to ISO 80. ISO 80 will produce the cleanest image possible, and that's very important when you're shooting with such a long shutter speed such as 10 seconds. Now, move over to white balance. Choose the appropriate white balance. If this is a cityscape you're capturing, I would recommend using the incandescent white balance option. Most streetlights are incandescent, so this will produce the most natural colors in the scene. Go ahead and press Set to exit. And now, just as before, you want to make sure the camera is set on something steady because of the long shutter speed, preferably a tripod. You'll need to set the timer function, press the left navigation button, and choose the 2-second timer, then press Set. Now you're ready to take your picture. The flash is turned off, the white balance and ISO are properly set, and my shutter speed is set to 10 seconds with an aperture setting of f6.3. Go ahead and place the focusing brackets over the subject, in this case anything in the distance. It can even be a street light. Press the shutter button halfway to lock focus. You can then recompose the image, and then press the shutter button the rest of the way to activate the 2-second timer. Because of the long 10-second exposure, processing the image after the camera is finished taking the picture will take a lot longer. Once the final image is displayed on the screen, you'll see whether you need to increase or decrease the shutter speed. Again, to change the shutter speed, simply press the exposure button and use the up or down navigation button.